What's up, guys? Typically, I like to make these videos when a quarterback plays really well and doesn't get any credit, or when a quarterback gets a ton of hype and they didn't really do anything to deserve it. This week, I'm doing a video on Kirk Cousins, not because I don't think anybody thinks he played great, and I don't think anybody's talking about how he played terribly, especially not in a miracle win, but that game was just fucked up. And I want to see what happened. I want to go through this and lay out how exactly the fuck the Vikings pulled off this win. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to this insane film. All right, Kirk Cousins gets it started with a nice batted ball. I'll show you exactly where it's batted. Right there, above the line of scrimmage. It's a bad ball. You got to do something to hold that defensive lineman down. Or you got to back up a little bit further and put some arc on the ball. That's bad. If I sound like I'm trying to speed through this, it's because I am. Because I actually just finished recording the entire thing. And after like an hour of recording, good solid throw. After an hour of recording, I realized that the volume was all fucked up and you couldn't hear what I was saying. So here, Justin Jefferson runs a really nice route. They're going to show a replay in a second. Kirk hits him with a solid ball. Not great, solid, good, above average, but not special. Jefferson cooks Bedford off the line and then cooks him with the turn as well. And then he just creates after the catch. That is turning a solid play into an elite production play. Justin Jefferson gets 2/3 of the credit for that play, right? Like, he got super open and then he made yards after the catch. Here, pedestrian play. 3rd and 3, and Kirk puts it right over the top. Let's call that a great throw. It's not quite elite. It was back into the defender a little bit, but it was 22 yards downfield, roughly. It was catchable. Justin Jefferson went up and got it. Let's watch it one more time. Yeah, Jefferson has to slow down a little bit, brings himself back into the corner a little bit. It was not that far downfield, but super accurate, great throw. Good job, Kirk. First drive is a resounding success. Josh Allen and the Bills say, all right, do it again. And Kirk Cousins immediately comes out and fumbles. Now, this is not a sack. You know what? Actually, we'll call it a negative quarterback sack because they lost yards due to his fumble. It's a quarterback sack and a fumble followed by a pedestrian throw here. That's another pedestrian throw. I don't know what they're trying to prove on 3rd and long, throwing 3rd down screens. It's a little redundant, but you get my point. On to drive 3. So the Bills go marching, and the Vikings come out running. Anytime you can do a 1st down run for 12 yards, you're really helping out your quarterback, making his job a lot easier. Problem is, it's still Kirk Cousins. Play action, they do that quite a bit today, and he just airmails it. An inexplicable pickable. There's just no... I mean, he misses. Right? He misses a wide open receiver by 3 yards. Look at this. Watch 17. He comes open. Here, you got to hit him with the ball. Ball's got to be like here where my clicker is. And instead, he just airmails it. Terrible. All right, Vikings come out with play action yet again. Throw a nice little pedestrian screen to the flat. I guess it was not a screen, but you get what I mean. Effectively a screen. More play action, constant play action, and this is effectively a throwaway, so we'll grade it like 1. It'll be the same kind of grade, but it is a neutral run. Just for accounting purposes. That is a great throw. Did a really good job of utilizing leverage and being accurate with plenty of velocity on the ball. Word to the wise, for those of you who are new here, a pedestrian throw is not a bad thing. It's an efficient thing. It is a routine thing. It is an expected thing. You design a play, you expect a pedestrian throw, right? There, we're going to give him a throwaway on this, a plus movement and a throwaway, simply because I don't know how the hell he's supposed to get that ball over Epinesa. His only other play is to try to pull it down, juke out the free rusher, and run, and that's not expected. Yeah, it's a pickable ball. You see Tremaine Edmonds pump his fists in anger because he should have had this ball and he knows it. He just made a great pass breakup and he's not happy because it should have gone the other way. Should have been a pick. Now here, this is a really good play. Watch Kirk pump fake, that holds the flat defender down because it's zone. It holds the line, or not the linebacker, the safety off screen towards the middle of the field. And then he drives it in there for a great throw in the honey hole, the pot shot, whatever you like to call it, that gap between the cover two cornerback and safety. Great throw. With a plus move even. Here on second down, that's an interception. The only reason it's not an interception is because of an egregious offensive pass interference by TJ Hawkinson, which actually gets called, and you got to earn those these days. They don't hand out offensive pass interference. So that's another pickable. We're already at 2 on the same drive. That's another pedestrian throw. Kirk has plenty of time, and it looks like that's going to be a throwaway, but it's actually a good throw. It's not great, because it was just totally out of sync and required the tight end to stop. Like if he puts this a little bit more towards the center of the field, tight end doesn't have to reach across the defensive back. He can get it like right here, much easier where my clicker is. But good throw, and a really smart throwaway because if anybody is going to get to the ball, it's going to be the tight end. It's not going to be the defensive back. So Kirk gets a little bit lucky and they get some points out of a 2 turnover worthy play drive. A little bit of great, a little bit of All right, next drive. So the Bills turn the ball over, the Vikings get it back. Look at this. So this is a pedestrian throw by Kirk, right? But look at Dalvin Cook right here, number 3. He's screaming off the edge. He's going to tackle Kirk before he even fakes the handoff. So Dalvin Cook says, fuck it. I don't give a shit about this play action. I'm going straight for that man, and he saves this play. Elite play by Dalvin Cook to get that pass pro going. But we're not grading running backs here. We're grading Kirk. Pedestrian. You don't need me to tell you that. You know. I love that. A wintry mix. In places where we actually get wintry mixes, we call that slush. Rain and snow at the same time. All right, Kirk wants everything, and that's just a terrible throw. Like, look how open Justin Jefferson gets. I'm not going to show you the all-22 because it's not necessary. He runs this little corner, and this safety is falling over himself. The underneath defender is nowhere to be found. The ball's got to get there in time, but he just Kirk wastes so much time by putting no velocity and way too much arc on that throw. It's a bad, bad throw. See here, I think this might have been picked. It doesn't really matter. It's 4th down. It's not a pickable throw. In fact, that's a perfectly pedestrian throw. He puts it on the body of his receiver. It's not his fault. It's not on Kirk. So the Bills go marching and get another touchdown, and it's looking like it might be over. Kirk hits him with a pedestrian pass that is trying to get some cheap yards with 14 seconds left. And I think it's right here. Yep, Kirk just throws another pickable right off the fingertips of the linebacker, which would have been huge because Bills could have gotten a field goal out of that. I was grading this game live, and this is exactly the point where I decided, dude, fuck it. They're down 14 points at half to the Bills. This is over. Kirk is throwing pickables left and right. He's got 4 in the first half. Fuck this. I'm out. On to the second half. So down 14, the Vikings really need to get something going in the second half, right? We know that they come back and win, but fucking how? I don't think it's going to be by running the ball up the gut. More play action. Just constant play action and a solid throw. It's a little late. If he gets it there quicker, it's much easier for Justin Jefferson to catch. If he gets it there a little quicker, there's some yards after the catch, but it's a solid throw. It's downfield. It was accurate. Put it on the face mask. It's what you need. More play action. Constant play action, and that's a bad ball. Ball's out of reach. Here, he does the exact same throw, just does it better. Pedestrian. Kirk under pressure and just an inexplicable pickable. One of the worst picks you'll ever see. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. There's a dude that's hitting him after he throws, so like, that's scary, I get it, pressure, but that's just, you can't do that. Watch this tight copy. Unreal. Literally no idea what he's doing. Next drive. All right, so that toss gets blown up. 2nd and 16. And he's going to throw that flat, isn't he? Yeah, he threw that flat to the tight end. Pedestrian. Kirk is just trying to not play football as often as possible here. 3rd and 12. Plenty of time in the pocket. And throws a dart. Really solid throw. Not quite great, but very solid. 1st and 10. Down 14. 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Play action again and another pedestrian throw. You guys noticing how many times I'm saying play action and then pedestrian? This is a really well-coordinated offense. They are pulling out every trick in the bag, every stop, trying to manufacture yards for their quarterback because they know that he's not great. Here, Kirk actually does an incredible job of improvising. This is a plus pocket movement to get this ball off, but it is still pedestrian. It's a screen. They're throwing screens, they're throwing play action because they don't believe in their quarterback's ability to transcend or to win from the pocket in true dropbacks. It's a bad throw, but there's a penalty, so we're not going to grade it. This comes back. And then on 3rd and 5, so on the first 3rd down attempt, there's a penalty, bad throw gets obviated. On the second 3rd down, it's a really good throw. That's a great throw by Kirk Cousins, legitimately. And it gets obviated by a holding. We're still going to grade it because the holding has nothing to do with Kirk Cousins. The throw is still awesome. Let's watch it one more time. He fucking drives it in there into like a triangle of almost coverage. Look at him just fucking gun that in there. 15, 20 yards downfield. Love to see it. But it doesn't count. So we come back to 3rd and 15, and Kirk does the Kirk thing where he just massively overthrows an open receiver. All right. Vikings better get something started quick. 1, 2. So the Bills go down and get a field goal, and this is a 17-point game. It looks really out of reach. And the Vikings are dumb enough to come out and run the ball. But it actually turned out pretty good. Sometimes playmakers make dumb decisions look good, and they produce something wildly out of expectation. Good for Dalvin Cook. We got a game again. Now, this is not a Josh Allen breakdown, but this is 4th and 2, and he had the running back right away. He missed the read. He tries to improvise a little bit, and he throws a egregious pickable in the end zone. And while it's 4th down, and pickables typically aren't that bad on 4th down, instead of having the ball at the 7, the Vikings have the ball at the 35. Pretty big difference. Really changes the calculus of going forward on 4th down. So it's bad on Josh Allen's part, but that's not for this video. We might do a Josh Allen video later. This throw is tough because it's not a good throw, but it is a catchable throw. But it's dropped. So we'll call it pedestrian just to be gracious because I've already been pretty harsh on Kirk today. And we'll move on. Pedestrian. 4th and 1. What you got, Kirk? You're down 10. Do something. I don't love the play call, but I don't mind it. Really great effort here at the very end by 17 to make sure he gets that 1st down. Fighting through. More play action. Positive movement to step up in the pocket, but a terrible throw. It was a little behind, but we'll call it pedestrian. All right, 4th and 6. What you got, Kirk? Big play here. Blitz is going to come up the middle. And Kirk just throws a dart to the tight end. That's a solid throw. Now, he had Thielen. He didn't have to go to the tight end there, but I have no gripe. Great play. Bad play. Don't actually know what he was trying to do here. It's a plus movement, and he just puts it way too high. Here, plus movement to get away from the rush. Throws it on the run, and that is a solid throw. Thielen was so wide open that it didn't have to be a very good throw. But it's a good job of processing. It's a good job of extending the play. It's a good job of being accurate enough and knowing when you can take something off the ball. Here's another plus move, and inexplicably, Kirk Cousins, yes, Kirk Cousins, has managed a positive run. Kirk will miss on this fade. It's not defensive pass interference. Sorry, Justin Jefferson. It's just a bad throw. But fear not, because fullback CJ Ham to the rescue. 3, 2, 1. Run that play. There you go. Touchdown. All right. They'll miss the field goal. So instead of a 3-point game, we got a 4-point game, and that's going to make everybody unhappy. But moving on. Kirk escapes the pocket again. Well, and he throws a pedestrian ball. So that's 2 plus movements in a pedestrian ball. Now, I know what you're saying. It looks like the linebacker had a chance on that ball. Linebacker made a great play and still didn't quite touch it. I'm not going to call that a bad throw. That's not on Kirk. It's just a really good play by the linebacker and a pedestrian play by the quarterback. 2nd and 5. Kirk with a pedestrian throw, but a plus movement. Good job to hang in that tough pocket. Thrown out of a muddy pocket is like the true mark of a veteran quarterback these days. Eating bad sacks is not good, though. At the least, Kirk Cousins has to dump this down to the running back, right? So watch Dalvin Cook sneak out. You got a little time here. You can loft that ball up there. You can get that ball, especially after that defensive lineman jumps. You got to get that ball out right now. Right now. Eats a sack. That's on Kirk. 2nd and 13. Pedestrian throw, but it's dropped. It's not really Kirk's fault. 3rd and 13. And that's not Kirk's fault at all. Von Miller just walks the right tackle straight back into him. Great play by Von Miller. 4th and 18. This game should be over right here. But then Kirk Cousins throws an interception. And this is an interception. Right there, that's in the defensive back's hands. Right there, it's still in both of the defensive back's hands. Now it's in Justin Jefferson's hands. This is a pickable all damn day. Very clearly. Look at that. This is the defensive back's ball. All he needs to do is get a knee to the ground so he can complete the catch. But here, you see his knee begin to fall, and that's when Justin Jefferson begins to wrench it away. Notice the ball is currently now contested, and the defensive back still isn't touching the ground. And the ankle begins to touch, and Justin Jefferson begins to pull the ball away. This isn't even really a catch by Justin Jefferson so much as it's a mid-air strip tackle and fumble recovery. That's absurd. And pickable, because it was literally picked until the very last moment. Kirk follows it up with a good throw. Solid. And a great throw. Guns it in there. That's a no-fault sack. It's not Kirk's fault that his lineman stepped on his foot, and a lineman did step on his foot. Kirk steps up through pressure and just throws the ball away. That's a bad throw, honestly, because if you're going to throw this ball away, remember earlier in the game when he threw the ball away but he gave his tight end a chance? Here, Justin Jefferson has outside leverage, so you want to put this ball on the corner. He doesn't. He just throws it up. Bad throw. I understand what he's trying to do, but he did it poorly. That's a good throw. Yeah, we'll call it pedestrian. He had more separation than it looks like. When you watch the replay, you'll see that's a ton of separation. A great play and probably defensive pass interference, but still not that difficult. Jefferson doesn't quite get in. Kirk comes back with a plus move and a pedestrian throw that should have been the game-winning touchdown, but Dalvin Cook just has a brain fart. Luckily, the offsides obviates it. We'll try again, and Kirk with a negative run. Almost all quarterback sneaks are neutral, but if you fail, especially in a situation where I believe that you should have not failed, you get a negative run. Here, I am shocked that Kirk didn't weasel his way in. That's just poor leg drive. You gotta fucking churn those legs, buddy. Have no fear, though. Fret not. Josh Allen's about to give you exactly what you wanted, because he tries his own quarterback sneak and fails even more miserably by not picking up the snap. That's it for regulation. On to overtime. Overtime, they come out running. They really do not want Kirk throwing. They've seen him throw the ball to the Bills 6 times already today. Second and 1 play action, they go deep. This is exactly what you should do. 2nd down and short is a free card to just do whatever you want. And Kirk with a solid throw, plus movement as well. It was really weird, and I don't know if that's where he wanted the ball to go, but it went there, and it was catchable. You know, Justin Jefferson might have been doing some work there, but we'll give it to Kirk. We've been harsh on him. He did beat the Bills after all. Okay, here, Kirk wanders into pressure unnecessarily. He should stop moving right there. He then makes a bad throw that results in a fumble. So that is a bad throw, because it was a bad throw. And it's a fumble, because it was backwards. So he lost 12 yards, right? And that's because of him. It's because he did a bad thing. But, oh no. He follows it up with a bad throw, but he gets bailed out. We're going to grade this because of, like, yes, it's DPI, but the ball's out of bounds. Like, the ball lands out of bounds. It couldn't have been caught even if nobody was there. Justin Jefferson's not 8 feet tall. He's great. He ain't that great. Bad throw. And another bad throw. And a run. And I think here is where Kirk just fucking does it. Yeah, this is where he does it. Drops back. Pressure. And just an elite throw. Now, after we finish this drive and the game, I'll cut to the all-22 and I'll show you, because originally I thought that might have been pickable or at least bad, but in retrospect, it was an elite throw. And the Vikings will stall down here and kick the field goal to win. That's a bad sack on Kirk Cousins' part, right? You've got things you can do. You got to throw this ball to Dalvin Cook right here in the flat. At the worst, you're going to get the ball back at the line of scrimmage on third down. At the best, he breaks one tackle and walks in to win the game. Instead, Kirk holds onto the ball and eats a sack that he should not have. Negative sack, Kirk Cousins. All right, it's going to be third and long from the 15. And Kirk tries to zip it in there to absolutely fucking nobody. So he ends the game on a bad throw, but the kick is up, and it is good. And the Bills will throw an interception. So, now to the all-22, and then to the film. 1, 2. All right, so here's that all-22 clip. As you can see, Kirk threads it in there. That's an elite throw. That's a back shoulder, 24-yard downfield dime. That's elite. I didn't think Kirk Cousins had it in him.
All right, to the charts. So, real quick, Kirk started off the first half terribly, right? He had 4 pickables in the first half alone. He had a negative play on 41% of his snaps, and he was only accurate on 62% of his snaps. So Kirk's negative play rate was almost twice as high as the league average so far this year. 41% of his throws in the first half were negative. 41% of his dropbacks, rather. And then he had an extremely average positive play rate at only 27%. This is good for a negative 9.25 slugging, which for a full game is terrible. In one half, that's so bad. It's on pace to be one of the worst games I've ever graded. This is Nathan Peterman level, 4 pickables and a fumble in the first half. However, in the second half, he really bounced back. He was only slightly below average. He fumbled again on that bad throw that he had behind the line of scrimmage. He also threw 2 more pickable passes, but he made up for it with 2 great passes and that elite pass to Justin Jefferson. He took 2 negative sacks on the day. He took 3 that weren't really his fault. He had 2 fumbles and 6 pickables. He had 8 turnover-worthy plays. It's terrible. He had a negative play 38% of the time, and he did get his positive play rate up to about 31%, but he was still only 62.5% accurate. That's 10% less than average. The dude sucked through and through. He tried to turn the ball over. He wasn't accurate. He wasn't even hitting the checkdowns that he is renowned for. But in an anomalous fashion for Kirk Cousins, the almost opposite thing you would expect. He had 5 great throws and an elite throw. It was the big explosive plays that really carried him and allowed him to win this game. Now, he didn't get punished for any of his fumbles and most of his picks, right? He had 8 plays where he should have turned the ball over, and it only actually happened twice or maybe 3 times. The point is, he took advantage of his extremely lucky breaks by attacking downfield with great success and really great performance. Like, yes, Justin Jefferson stole a fourth down conversion for him, but that back shoulder throw for 24 yards to line the Vikings up to score the go-ahead touchdown, that was really impressive. That's the reason they won the game in overtime, because they weren't moving the ball other than that. For instance, I made another video, I'll probably put a link here, about how amazing Justin Herbert was this week on Monday Night Football, and he is an explosive player typically in his own right. He had 6 great or elite throws. Now, 4 of them were elite, but I mean, he had 6 way above average throws, and Kirk Cousins had 6 way above average throws. So Kirk simultaneously was terrible, like fucking terrible, but way more explosive than we're used to. If he could just clean up the inexplicable pickables and the fumbles, which I think he probably can, the fumbles both kind of felt fluky, and at least 2 of the interceptions, or interceptable balls, were just so bad that I can't imagine anybody makes them again. Kirk played okay, really. All right, do you disagree? Vikings fans, do you think I'm an asshole? Do you think I'm calling you frauds inappropriately? Because the Vikings are about as lucky as an 8-1 team can be. I mean, they're a slightly above average team, and they just beat the best team in the league, arguably, while trying to turn the ball over 8 times. That's crazy. Let me know what you disagree with. You think I graded any plays wrong? Hit me with this timestamp. Throw the timestamp to the video in the comments. I'll watch it and I'll explain. And if you still disagree, then we disagree. But maybe you'll teach me a thing, maybe I'll teach you a thing. Anyway, until next time, hasta.